morning. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday, wherever you are. Um, I see the weather back home in the UK is, well, it was fantastic. I'm not sure if it's still fantastic now. And equally in Spain. So I hope you all having a good one. It's still chilly here, to say the least. And it's not the best season to live in Australia, if I'm honest. I don't know about the rest of Australia. Maybe further north would be nice, but here it's a little bit too cold for me. So this is someone coming from the UK. So yeah, it's cold, but not as cold as the UK, obviously. Uh, so this week I just wanted to talk a little bit about anxiety. Now, as an individual, I have always suffered with anxiety, far back as I can remember. So I think when I went to secondary school or senior school in the UK, I was about the age of 11. Now, this was the age I discovered I was gay or knew I was different, let's put it that way. I didn't really know what being gay was back then, but I just knew I was different. So, and I remember the first, the first piece of anxiety, the first anxiety-inducing incident, should I say, that I suffered with from. We were having sex education classes in school, science. Now, the sex education classes then were a tiny bit different to what they probably are now, not that I know. It mainly consisted of pollination of flowers, which was really totally irrelevant to human procreation. But there were elements of normal sexual activity between consenting adults. And this is the point I thought to myself, there's something wrong with me. Because it was between a man and a woman. I mean, there was no education about homosexuality. There was nothing. Same-sex relationships weren't even discussed. I mean, if you go back to the television of the day, there were very few gay people on it. There were, how can I put it, the stereotypes. The Mr. Humphreys from Are You Being Served, etc. So there were the stereotypical gay characters. But homosexuality as a rule wasn't really spoken about. That was my first anxiety moment, if you like. I think as time went on, I think I realised, yeah, I was different. It wasn't, I mean, initially, for the first sort of up until I went to university, I thought there was something wrong with me. That's how bad it was. With Section 28 introduced by, is it the Thatcher government or the Major government? I can't remember. But anyway, it was introduced, and what it meant is I couldn't actually get any help or counselling or anything from any person in authority, whether that be a teacher or whatever. So I couldn't openly discuss my feelings. I couldn't, there was nowhere to turn, literally. So from the age of 11 until I went to university, I suffered with acute anxiety, and it was bad, really bad. And I suppose that's where I had my first bout of IBS, which is also an anxiety-inducing, I call it a disease. It's a condition, really. It's just something you live with, and to be honest with you, you live with it for the rest of your life. And at times of high anxiety, it can be hellish. But you do have lulls, and you do have good bits as well. So yeah. So for those kind of, sort of 10 plus years, it was horrible. I hated school. I hated being at school. Um, I guess there were a very select few people who knew what my sexuality was, and there were a few of us at school who, were gay, but it was hidden. It wasn't spoken about. Um, Today, you'd wear it. You'd wear a label. It would be on your sleeve as such. You would have a big sign on your head saying what gender or sexuality you are. But back then, it just did not happen. So I suppose I spent most of my time hiding away. I was bullied on, gosh, quite a few occasions. Quite a few. So my anxiety increased and increased and increased. Even today, I have bad anxiety, and it really is, it stemmed from that time all those years ago. So I suffer mainly these days with health anxiety. Now, oh my God, I've had every single health test going, whether it be in the UK or here. Even during COVID, the louder I shouted, the more I got seen, and that's actually a good trait to have. So look, if you think there's something wrong with you, if you believe, I mean, we all know our own bodies, but if you truly believe that you're unwell, especially at that time of COVID, you really had to make your voice heard above the parapet, really. And I shouted the loudest. So even during COVID, I had various procedures done just to find out what was going on. And it turns out that the anxiety I had really was a signal that yes, there was something wrong. Don't get me wrong, I'm not ill, but back then I was in pain. I mean, I was told it was IBS related, and forget about it, and you got to just think about it, get your mind somewhere else. And it turned out it was a gallbladder that was about to go pop, and that was pain. That was real pain. In fact, I remember a doctor saying to me that had I not come at that point, I could have been seriously ill. So it was full with stones. But the fact that I shouted the loudest meant I got seen. Other procedures, I probably never need. I had an endoscopy and a colonoscopy and, any oscopy going really. Didn't really find anything. And, even today, I, as a hangover from that time, I still have anxiety related issues. I do get IBS. I do get anxiety. At the moment, I do have anxiety. The thing is with me, it manifests in very different ways. So the physical symptoms of anxiety, from palpitations to sweats, dizziness, etc., are all well known, totally. But there's some other ones that are really not known. At the moment, I've got what you would call a burning sensation in my leg, lower right leg below the knee. Now, I know it's anxiety related, but the more you think about it, the worse it becomes. And then your mind starts going on overdrive, and you just think, oh my God, what if it is actually something wrong with me? What if I've got a blood clot? What if I've got this? What if I've got that? So it can really cause problems. I'm not going to a doctor because I know full well what it is. I've learned in many ways to deal with it. And in Australia, I'm not constantly paying to see a GP because it costs a lot of money. It really does. So I know what it is. Last week, I had dizziness, and I think if you saw my video log from last week, I think it was last week, could have been the week before, I wasn't wearing my glasses because I was feeling constantly dizzy. That's anxiety. That's all that is. This week I'm totally fine. And the thing is, I don't know if it's just the way my brain works or the way other people's brains work as well when they have anxiety, but it focuses on a particular symptom and it runs with it. So for the past 3 days, I've had that burning sensation, and the more I think about it, the worse it becomes. I have an electric blanket at night. Yes, in Australia, I need an electric blanket, but it's turned off now. I had it on every night because I get cold. And I thought the electric blanket's causing the problem. Turned it off. Still had the same burning sensation this morning. So I know it's not that, and I know it's anxiety. And with me talking to you now, I don't have that burning feeling because my mind is concentrating on something else. So the only way I can describe anxiety is it's a vicious cycle. And whether it was anxiety with my sexuality as it was back in the late 80s or mid to late 80s, health anxiety as it is now, or whatever anxiety it may be, fear of groups of people, I always used to find it really difficult to meet people and become friends with people. And that was just my anxiety backing me off, really, and just putting those warning signs out. It's really been hellish. I do have some really good friends, and they sort of they understand how my mind works, and I understand how their mind works, and we're all very different, and we all cope with things in very different ways. One of the ways I do cope with anxiety is through blogging, video logging, diary keeping, anything that I can look back on and learn from. And it's been a great lifesaver in many respects. Now at the moment I'm kind of looking at YouTube videos on anxiety, which really I shouldn't be, but it's better than Googling symptoms and stuff like that, because I do find that listening to other people's experiences and actually reading other people's experiences in forums helps a lot as well. Breathing exercises, look, I mean, I've been told so many times you should try meditation and yoga, and you should do breathing exercises, all the rest of it. It really has not ever worked for me, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because my mind's constantly on overdrive. My mind is constantly doing things. I used to have a notepad by the side of my bed, and when I would wake up, I would write down notes about thoughts that I only got when I was in bed. Apparently last night, according to my sleep app, I've had about 2 hours, 41 minutes sleep. I think I've had more than that. I feel fine, absolutely fine. But there's things, anxiety plays on your mind, so it creates restless sleep. It doesn't. It's not the best thing for relaxation, in all honesty. So, and my poor partner has to put up with it. And I was up. God, what time was I up this morning? I was awake about 3:45 this morning, and then I'm up and about, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I thought about doing washing. I didn't actually do it, which is good. But as soon as I'm up, I'm active. I like that. I'm a real morning person, and I never used to be. And this is all really to do with how I've changed over the years. When we go to Taiwan in October, the most anxiety-inducing experience is going to be that plane journey, yet again. That's the worst for me, and there's no way I will ever get over that. I might get over the burning leg eventually, maybe in a few days, few weeks, but the plane, the aeroplane, the thought of being up in the air, it just gets me every time. So there are things that I will never ever get over, and really that's just your body's fight or flight way of dealing with things. It knows it's alien, and it's like a security mechanism, I suppose, and it kicks in the most anxiety-inducing situations. Apparently, this again, I should not be reading things, but I do. My blood group was also responsible for my anxiety. So, as a blood group A, I suffer with it more than blood group O and other blood groups. And apparently, when you're anxious, forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think your body produces cortisol or something, but which isn't good. It's not good for you, especially when you're constantly anxious. So, if you have any ideas about how you personally deal with anxiety, if you suffer with it, let me know. And, because at the moment, all my ideas center around being active. I know that's good, but there are times where you just want to rest. You want your mind to rest. My mind's just constantly on overdrive. If I have a spare half an hour, I will sit down and write an essay. I just do that, and it helps to relax my mind and take my mind off other things. So yes, 16 minutes. Gosh, goes so quickly. Hope you all have a wonderful week. If you've got anxiety, deal with it, like me. If you haven't, well done, because life is more simple. So look after yourselves and speak next week. Ciao.